Very good evening. I don't know what Amy just done there, but yep, good evening. It's Tuesday evening. It's January. A depressing month, but we're going to be here to cheer you up tonight. What a duo we've got on tonight. It's the first time we've ever worked together. So it's myself, Mr. Dave Smith, and to my right is Mr. Michael McCure. Michael, how are we this fine Tuesday evening?
I don't know if I don't know if I'm excited about getting full houses back at football, Dave, or working with you. I think it's a that one. I think it's working with you. So no, but it's nice to be back and nice to be working with you tonight on the show. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We're awaiting a late fitness test from Mr. Colin Byers. We're led to believe he's on the A90 at the moment, so we're waiting to see if he passes his fitness test in order to come on or not. No Robbie Henrati tonight. The big man's took a holiday. So you've got me and Mr. McCure. And Mr. McCure, what a day. Fans giving the green light to return. Uh, very, very much exciting news for every Scottish football fan because, I mean, when the games were getting played behind crowds of 500 in Boxing Day, it was depressing. There was a lot of it was a bounce game mentality about it. But even further down the leagues, there's not been the same atmosphere compared to in these games either.
Yeah, it's what you might find a lot of Scottish football fans watching Holyrood, and they've never watched Holyrood before, but they were holding it out for a big announcement at 2:30 to give them Nicola Sturgeon, and she delivered. They came with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. If you pardon the pun there, I know we're just past Christmas and all that, but yeah, it's brilliant to see fans back at football again, and may it continue as well.
Absolutely. And let's say Nicola Sturgeon lost the changing room before Christmas. That fixture's just reignited the changing room again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe she could be called Sir. Not Sir, but Mrs. Nicholas or whatever. For most for the majority of football fans up and down the country. But no, it's brilliant to see the football coming back, and we've got a full midweek card to look forward to next week, David. Monday, Celtic and Hibs. And Tuesday night you've got all the games, including that big game up at Aberdeen against Rangers.
Absolutely. Well, if you're a Celtic or a Hibs fan, Mike, I'm would be the best Monday night of your life. It would be have a Saturday vibe tip going to Celtic Park, not been there in 4 or 5 weeks. If you're a Celtic fan and going, yes, let's head off to the East End of Glasgow for a cracking game of Cinch Premiership football.
Yeah, so Sunday night will be like Christmas Eve for all the Celtic fans and Hibs fans going to their bed and waking up and having their Christmas present at 7:45 on the Monday night. But what a brilliant game to go back to, David, because no matter if it was no fans being allowed in or games, etc., but that game is something special as well. It has all the ingredients that Sean Maloney coming back to Celtic Park for the first time. You have the 3 Japanese players that's making their debut for Celtic under the floodlights at Parkhead, and it's on the TV as well. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. That should be a cracker to kick us off into the second half of the season.
Yep, absolutely. And then lead on to Tuesday night. It's a full card there, and you've got, as you rightly alluded to there, you've got Aberdeen against Rangers on Tuesday, and that's a fantastic spectacle for Scottish football.
Yeah, again, is that game on the TV? Do you know,
Yeah, it
Dave?
is, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So again, I like to see Scottish football on the telly just to promote the wonderful game that we have, and hopefully we can have more viewers from like further afield, watching the brilliant game. But yeah, again, Dave, we all know that Aberdeen and Rangers, whether it's at Ibrox or Portugal, it's got a wee bit of spice to the game. So Yeah, both sets of fans will be looking forward to that game on Tuesday night as well, because these games really need the atmosphere. Because there's nothing worse, as you know, like we go to the games in the press box, and like there's hardly in the atmosphere. You can hear the ball getting booted about 55 times, and but when there's a full house and you don't hear any noise, you hear the fans. So, but yeah, brilliant to see that game coming back as well.
Absolutely. And Scott Howe, I would love an Aberdeen win next Tuesday. I'll put that straight to you right now. Further down the leagues, they've also been still continuing, but on the 500 crowd limit. But I think it gives them a little bit more respite, Mike, that they can go and play games with bigger crowds, because the 500 has been a real positive for them, but also there's been people that has missed out in going to these games.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Dave, working at the games as the likes of me as well, but over the Christmas period, it was, I was watching the games on telly, but it didn't feel right, if you know what I mean, because everybody's love to go to the games in Boxing Day. Fair enough, we had games in Boxing Day, but it was only 500. So, and I was all right watching Premiership football on the TV, but it wasn't just the same as that kind of thing. So, no, brilliant to have like fans back at the games, and let's hope it continues right to the end of the season.
And I think the Scottish Government have made that accessible for everybody. So maybe not accessible financially, I may add, but they've made it accessible in terms of the current vaccine situation, in terms of you don't need to have your booster as a mandatory requirement. You can just do a lateral flow testing a day. I think it's a good way to try and make sure we're being accessible towards the fans.
And also, I heard as well that there's an upgrade to your vaccine passports. But one thing I never heard, Dave, it was is away fans allowed in, or is it only the home fans?
I think both are allowed in. Mike?
Yeah. No, I was just asking you if it was a home game, if it was a home fans or both sets of support, because
both are allowed in.
Yeah, because I feel as though that if you have both sets of fans in, it would make for a good atmosphere as well, especially under the floodlights at Parkhead or Piccadilly or whatever. Wherever your team's playing on the Tuesday night as well. So no, but I never knew that I was both sets of fans, but that makes it a bit better.
Although you've probably missed this because you've obviously been ready to get on the show, but I've just looked at my phone, and Celtic are to see their allocation for next month's trip to Tynecastle, which is 2 weeks tomorrow, capped at just over 1,000. I can thoroughly understand how teams want to use home advantage to their benefit, but 1,000 Celtic fans is a bit poor, if you ask me.
Yeah, you know yourself, no matter where Celtic goes, whether it's in Glasgow, Inverness, or in this case Edinburgh, they always take a full allocation. 9 times out of 10, it's more than the home allocation. Sometimes at the back of the goal, Celtic always fills that out very, very easy. But yeah, if you're 1,000 is very poor from Hearts, and let's hope they change their mind on that one, because again, that is a good ground, a good game, but you need the atmosphere as well. So let's hope. But let's hope Celtic can come to some negotiations with Hearts and that one.
Absolutely. What's your idea for next week? Are you going to head along to that game, considering there's no more restrictions?
Yeah, well, I'm down to taking the Celtic game on Monday night. Celtic Hibs, going to that one. I'm looking forward to it. And then, it's when you go to the games and you go up to the games as well, outside the grounds. You know yourself, there was no one there when you were going to the games. But now, but when people's standing about outside the ground, you kind of get a buzz about the place. Somebody famously said that years ago, and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing different. Different people standing about outside, and hopefully for a good game of football and a nice night as well.
Well, Mr. Stevenson's buzz, I can assure you that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mr. Stevenson is off for buzzing. I don't know if he's back from Ari Parry yet. I've not saw him or heard from him, so I hope it's going okay.
Yep, absolutely. So when you look at this in total complexion, I think shutting down was the right thing to do, but it's normality, and that's the main thing here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a wider point of view, Dave, it's like we all love football, we cover football every week, but to be honest with you, when we talk about COVID and the pandemic and all that, football and sport in general takes a back seat. Basically, it's a second nature. But yeah, I mean, let's hope all the fans kind of like behave themselves as well, and we don't go back to 500 or what it was through the season, because it's not nice watching that when you're watching it on the TV and you can't get to any of the games, But yeah, I mean, we'll, and also it's a wider society as well. It's not a football issue. It's wider than kind of football. But no, hopefully it stays at full houses from now until the cup final in May.
Absolutely. I was at the Dundee United Hibs game covering that on Boxing Day, and as I alluded to earlier on the show, it was playing a bounce game mentality. There was very little tempo by both sets of teams, and I'll probably, yet to be confirmed, obviously, I'll probably beat the Dundee United against St Mirren next Tuesday, and that's going to be a game that I think will be a good spectacle. I mean, you've got a Dundee United side that are struggling to go and score goals, but you've also got a St Mirren side that can't really find the back of the net right now either. But I look at this by saying I think both teams will get a little bit of an impetus based on the fact that there will be a full crowd again.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said to you before, Dave, about Dundee United there. I was looking for them to do maybe a bit more this season than they have. They go off to a good start against Rangers, beating them up at Talladice, and also coming to Celtic Park and getting a well-deserved point that day as well. And then since then, they've been on kind of like free fall. I saw them the other week at Ibrox. I think it was back in early December, and I thought they played well up until 70 minutes when Rangers got a penalty. Dundee United got a chance in the last minute as well. I think they had the crossbar. So yeah, and then as for St Mirren, it's St Mirren's a kind of, what you would say, St Mirren's a kind of stuffy team. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, I saw them a week against Celtic at St Mirren Park, and I thought St Mirren defended well, just to get a well-deserved point. And then early on, I saw them against Rangers and at home, and they dominated that game as well. Against Rangers at New St Mirren Park. So yeah, I mean, you don't know what side you're going to get as well. I mean, it's different, Dave, because if this game was 3 weeks ago, you would say, well, maybe it will be a dull 0-0 game, but now, because everybody's got a break and people's been out injured and they came back from injury, and they've given that space to get back and get fit again. You might be in for an entertaining game, or else, as I said, you might be in for a dull game. I'm not sure, but no, that looks a good game as well.
Absolutely. Rangers and Ross County voted against the vote to obviously stop the football or stop the winter break, bring the winter break forward. Beg your pardon, but when you look at this in reflection, I think Rangers, with all due respect and honesty, kind of looked at this by saying they wanted to do it because last season no fans, and they got a lot of impetus and momentum from that, and I think they wanted to see that through to the extent.
I was very surprised at Ross County. Were you, Dave?
I was, and Malky Mackay at the time was up front and honest because I was at the St Johnstone Ross County game before the shutdown, and he was up front and honest saying he doesn't think fans will come back, but thankfully, Nicola Sturgeon has given us a belated Christmas present.
I know why Rangers are doing that, because they went kind of like unbeaten, well, certainly in the league, behind close scores last season. So Rangers, you need to think about Rangers are looking after Rangers. Rangers aren't looking after anyone else here, by themselves, and they're entitled to do it. Like all the clubs are entitled to have an opinion and a say as well. I just felt as though that was a bit unfair. So they're saying that if Celtic were playing Rangers tomorrow at Ibrox, are they saying that they would prefer that game to be behind closed scores? No, I don't think so. And and they would say that they've actually played better in front of no fans at all. But I don't think it's a bit fair about what they're saying and doing. But fair enough. I mean, everybody's entitled to opinion, but I do not agree with that. No.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much for sending your questions and comments. Much appreciated. Tom Mess's popped up. Happy Year, Sarah. Hope you're well. You weren't here last night. I don't know why. Maybe Regan Stevenson kind of scared you off. I don't know. Maybe Michael McEwen's better looking than Regan Stevenson, of course. But
Cheers, Dave.
Truth, yes, correct. Transfer talk. What do you think of Celtic's dealings so far in the window, Mike?
I think if you were a Celtic fan, you would be quite surprised at how quickly they've done all the signings and dealings. First of all, you've got to give massive credit to Angie and also Michael Nicholson for getting the deals done early. In fact, they were actually signed before the bells at midnight. That's how early it was. And I think that there's more to come in the coming weeks as well. But I think if you would say to any Celtic fan, you're going to sign the 3 Japanese players and Ko and Jota, but I think that's to be maybe announced in the next few days as well. And Carter Vickers, I think most Celtic fans would be quite happy at that. I think the only concern that the Celtic fans would have is they haven't got a backup to Joe Hart goals. That's a bit concerning. But no, I mean, overall, I think that they've done the business very well, very kind of like a split and to the point. Because back in the day, if it was Peter Lawwell, Peter Lawwell would actually phone you 10 minutes to midnight and say, do you want to sign for Celtic? And by that time, the player's halfway down the M1 or whatever else to London. So fair play to Michael Nicholson and Andrew Postecoglou to get the deals in. I've seen the show reels on YouTube, Dave, but as you know yourself, you don't see a bag. They don't put up a bag show reel on YouTube as well. So I'll be interested to see if any of them. I'm guessing that you'll see 2 of them anyway making their debut next Monday night against Hibs, and that's a reason why you want fans back as well, just to see the new signings and see how they adapt to the game and work with their teammates, because they've had 2 weeks now, or else a week and a bit, and maybe to work with the new teammates and the new system that they're going to put in place for the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. It's been a good window so far, but do you think the priority is getting Jota in a permanent deal?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think Celtic missed him big time, even though they were down on their knees, even before the cup final. They missed that kind of spark in the park. You know, let's hope the injury sorted out and back to full health and stuff. When they play against Hibs. But yeah, I think Celtic missed him. Yeah, just for that kind of like special moment, if you see what I mean by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Back on to the fans now. I'm going to the rest of transfer talk in a minute. A comment in here by Robbie Boy 1888 saying we're only getting back because of the Six Nations football fans. I see as a lesser class. Do you understand and knowledge where Robbie's coming from here?
Yes and no. Obviously, the Six Nations begin on the 6th of February as well. And I think Scotland's first game's at Murrayfield as well. Because there was, I know we were talking about football here, but they were talking about playing rugby behind closed doors. And they were actually talking about playing the Scotland-England game at Twickenham, what I felt was a bit unfair. Because we played them down there last season. So I could see where he's coming from in that one, yeah. But yeah, I would be interested if there wasn't any Six Nations on. Would it be any different?
Absolutely. By the way, that's all the rugby chat you'll have for tonight, and all the rugby chat you'll probably have for the foreseeable future. So I've got that
season anyway.
I've got that out there, short and sweet. So that's lovely indeed. Right, transfer talk. John Souttar. He's been linked with Rangers, Blackburn Rovers, and Sheffield United. He's well in demand.
Yeah, he's a popular guy. Yeah. You know, it's funny when you get a transfer window, Dave, because only one transfer in the whole of Scotland, doesn't matter what team it is, always takes about 4 or 5 weeks, or always it's like a soap opera, it's like day to day. Is it or is it not? That's a big question that we're asking. But yeah, it's a very kind of like interesting one as well. The bottom line is, who comes up with the big bucks?
Yeah.
Simple as for me.
Well, I think it'll be a nice and simple conclusion or nice and simple process because he's at a contract end of the season, so it makes things a lot easier for the clubs that are interested in John.
Yeah. I suppose when we come back on here, obviously we're not on tomorrow night, Dave, but he might be away to one of these clubs. You never know. But as I say, money kind of talks and this transfer window, because I know that we were going to talk about the guy at Dundee United as well and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting where John Souttar's going to go. They talk of him going to Celtic. I think it was in the summer there. There was talk of him going to Celtic. Obviously, that's by the by now. So yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Well, for myself, persuasion, very good point here by Brown Warrior saying I'd take Souttar over Starfelt on the show of the past 6 months, and you can't disagree with what Brown Warrior has said there.
I think, but I think he's been a bit unfair to Starfelt, because I know why the contributor saying that, but like he started the season a bit shaky, Starfelt, and then he's kind of like settled down a wee bit, and all that. But yeah, I could see where you're coming from that point of view. But yeah, I mean, I think Starfelt's again. You need to give him time as well, because not to give him any excuses, but he's coming from a different country, a different environment as well. So yeah.
Yep, absolutely. On the Souttar front, in terms of Scotland ambitions, what do you think is the better club?
Oh, you would great to see him staying in Scotland because obviously, you want all your Scottish players to stay in Scotland as well. But as I said earlier on, money talks now in football. It's not football; it's just a money game as well. And but if you had to give me a choice, I would say Blackburn.
And they've been going great guns right now under Tony Mowbray. I think working under Mowbray would be the perfect fit for both player, manager, and for club. And I know a lot of Celtic fans don't like Mowbray, but I think it's the honest truth.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, and it's about maybe obviously we don't know the guy that well, but obviously he wants to try at a different level or a different country, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean that's gig. It's gonna get interesting how what's going to happen there. So, as I say, it's going to be a soap opera, and I think this will go on for a couple more days yet.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, I'm led to believe John Souttar, yeah. I'm led to believe John Souttar makes a cracking cup of coffee because he runs a coffee shop in Kirriemuir, or Brecon. So there you go. He's the owner of a coffee making industry. So there we go. Wherever he goes, he'll make cracking coffee.
Yeah, it's very good how you managed to put in a sponsor there for the show, JP, Dave. So I think the boss will be quite happy with you mentioning a coffee shop and stuff. Yeah.
I know the other partner, so I'll give him a phone and try and get some money in. So well, we should be all good from that point of view. Yep, okay. Kerr Smith. Well, I must say before I go leading further, Dundee United have got the best of the deal here because Kerr Smith is set to join Aston Villa at a £2 million deal.
Yeah.
I think it's a great piece of business from Dundee United.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it just shows you that, a bit like Nathan Patterson, because Nathan Patterson has come into the first team last year, and I was reading today that he only he only signed a new professional deal for Dundee United in December there. So, right away, Dave, you can see the talent about this young kid as well, and even though he's going to Aston Villa, but it's one to keep an eye on and keep an eye on for the future as well. But as you say, it's a good win-win situation for Dundee United as well to get that money.
And I must say, Mike, Birmingham must be a lovely, lovely place because he had a lot of offers. He had a lot of people interested in him. There was definitely a lot of girls at the bar for him, but he chose Aston Villa.
I heard the nightlife's down. I heard the nightlife's okay down there, but no, I mean, I haven't saw a lot of them this season. I've just kind of read about them, and the reports has been the report what I've seen in the reports, he's been very good and very talented and stuff like that. What is it 21?
Kerr Smith is 17.
17, yeah. So not even 20 yet. So you would say it's a beginning of his career as well. So what's this guy? Because he might go from strength to strength, and also he's coming up with like John McGinn as well. And as you say, Steven Gerrard was up here at Rangers for a few seasons as well. So. Yeah, I mean, it's quite sad to see a player leaving Scotland from England, but you know why? And, it's a no-brainer sometimes as well, especially if it's 17, it's the beginning of a new chapter in his career, and hopefully one day, you never know, he might come back to United or another team in Scotland.
Yep, totally. I mean, I look at this, and I mentioned it before I started the conversation regarding this, but saying Dundee United's got the better deal out of this because they get a windfall of £2 million. And also, it's not like Kerr Smith is going straight to the first team at Villa. He's going into the youth academy at the club, which just goes to show you it's basically stealing money for Dundee United. It's robbery.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, out with maybe Celtic and Rangers clubs like that, Dave, like Dundee United and Dundee and whatever need the money, basically, especially because what we were talking about earlier on about no fans getting into the football stadiums. Okay, it was only one game, but I'm thinking about last season as well, because you had the whole season without no fans there. So yeah, it's a good bit of business from Dundee United there. But I don't think he would be not to be putting down. I'm meant to be talking up Scottish football here, but I mean, I think you'll find a few more going to England and further afield as this window shuts in a few weeks. Hopefully not, but
I think John McGinn was a perfect springboard for Aston Villa and indeed the Premier League in England.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you see him on Match of the Day or Sky or wherever you watch your football nowadays, it's brilliant to see players down there. But it's a wee bit sad how they're still not up in Scotland. But at the same time, that when they're going down there, they're actually promoting the game that we've got up here in Scotland. You say, oh yeah, John McGinn used to play for Hibs and all that and stuff like that, Same as the Japanese players coming around the world, basically, could play for the Celtic, it must be a good marketing material as well,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And looking at it now, I mean, we look at this by saying that Kerr Smith is a good move for himself. But in terms of Kerr Smith, I'm surprised he's took this deal. Maybe the agents had a major say in this because I mean he was in and out of the Dundee United first team, but then you're going from one club that you're getting potential first team opportunities to another club where you're pretty much just staying in the youth academy, and then you're maybe getting loaned out to a National League side or a League Two side.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there, Dave, when you say give agents get involved, get out with your hands, because don't forget that they get a percentage of the deal as well. So everybody wins out of that deal, don't they? But yeah, the agents can kind of like bend your ear sometimes, if you want to call it for a better word, and persuade you into it in a nice possible way. But yeah, so again, it's somebody could say it was a fun old game, and in this occasion, I might sing a fun old game, but no, good luck to Kerr, and hopefully he'll break into the first team if not this season, but next season as well.
I think it's Stevenson to here. Mike said the best duo since Jack and Victor. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I'm not either, Dave, so you can be either if you want.
I'll be Navid.
Navid? Right, okay, yeah. Yeah. It'd be a bit more Swift though, one. Yeah. But yeah, you gave me Reagan. It's good to find you back from the darts now, so that's good. So you can get a bit of work done.
It's okay, Mike. We can just call Regan Winston, couldn't we?
Well, it's good said he's Tam, so okay, we'll let you off for that one.
Perfect. Right. Billy Gilmore, injured at Norwich. He's back at Chelsea. but Dean Smith has says his loan is not over at Carrow Road, despite the criticism he endured after Christmas.
I must admit, Dave, I never actually saw the game. Obviously, I've heard people speaking about it on the telly, and I'm quite sad to hear that. I mean, because he's still a young guy, and if you're at that age, you might be put off football. But it's very good that Dean Smith is kind of not in his camp basically, but sticking up for him and says this shouldn't have happened as well. And to single one guy out of the team is terrible. It's a team game, so if you've got to criticise the team, if you've got to if you've got to criticise the whole team instead of one player, it's right bad and all that. And he's a good prospect to could come through, but no, I'm sure that he'll bounce back after the injury and shake it off and get back. And the only way to shut them up, Dave, is to score goals.
Absolutely. And it's a done deal with Bradford City and Heart of Midlothian. Jamie Walker has indeed, as we touched upon last night, joined Bradford on loan. What do you think about that one, Mike?
Yeah, again, it's I don't know what the fee is involved or whatever.
Maybe just be a loan. There'll be no fee. They'll just be a loan.
Oh, just a loan, right? Okay, I never heard you there. Yeah. So I need to get. Well, if Reagan's calling me somebody from Skull Game, I need to turn my hearing up, But no, I think it's a good move, and you never know, it could be a permanent move in the window in the summer. Just have to wait and see in that one. But yeah, I enjoyed watching him when he was at Hearts playing against Celtic or Rangers or other teams, or even when he was in the Championship. He scored a few goals as well. So yeah, just have to wait and see what happens then.
Absolutely. Dundee, Sam Cosgrove was linked with the club, but he's turned them down. Wants to remain in Shrewsbury. And Jason Cummings didn't enjoy Shrewsbury. So Sam Cosgrove must have found a bit of love from somewhere in that town.
He must not like the weather in Dundee, David. But no, I mean, it's when I saw that, I was quite saddened in a way because, you always want to, again, I know I keep going on about it, but again, you want to see the best talent in Scotland, and he is a good player actually, and good, just kind of disappointing because Dundee makes all the help they can get at the moment. Let's face it, bottom half of the table. Hopefully they pick up in the second half of the second half of the season as well. Yeah, but I mean, you've got to ask yourself. I mean, are they a bigger club? I don't know. So yeah, it's a kind of interesting one, and the Dundee fans will be a bit annoyed with that one. But if he doesn't want to come back, he doesn't have to come back. If you know what I mean. But that's a strange move, that one.
And Dundee need to make sure they get somebody in because they can't rely on Danny Millen. Danny Millen will not score 25 goals for Dundee. Jason Cummings is a foregone formality with Dundee Football Club. He will no longer be at the club, I predict, because of his drinking instincts and misdemeanours at the open goal that Mr. Stevenson has very much told me about. And also Leigh Griffiths. I think Celtic fans know that. That's up to that one. So Dundee very much need a striker here, Mike.
It's not very happy dressing room. You would looking from outside in, because Jason Cummings and Leigh Griffiths. I mean, the thing about this, Dave, is we know that they're two brilliant football players. They scored a lot of goals, Hibs and Celtic over the years, I mean, I was good watching Lee Griffiths, he free kicks the other week against Joe Hart, funny enough, when that game at Hampden. And, you're thinking, well, that was only about 3 years ago. And now, what are you doing to yourself? But we know that there's a football player in there. It's just trying to get it out sometimes. It's a shame because Dundee is struggling, and they'll struggle even more for goals if they don't have a settled dressing room, a happy team to be in, because that must be terrible for you to be in a dressing room and you don't really go on with the teammates, and there's fights and so I don't know what needs to be done, but Jane McPeck's got a harder job on his hands than gets Lee Griffiths and Cummins.
I think we've went a bit off topic here, but we can continue because you've built up the momentum very much. So I think James McPake went for the tried and tested approach. He's worked with Griffiths, he's worked with Cummings, he knows what they're capable of, but they've went the other side of this and just looked at Dundee as a pay packet rather than a tick the box exercise, rather than a right, we're going to do this and that and do what are positive things for Dundee Football Club.
I mean, we all saw it, didn't we, Dave, that night at Rugby Park when Dundee got promoted. The first person that the Jane McPeck was on the phone to was Griffiths. Yeah. And we all thought then, Griffiths is a threat to go to Dundee. And then but it's not turned out the way that we that Griffiths or the Dundee fans wanted it to be. Because what is it? He scored 2 goals. Both
against Aberdeen.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think if he's going to a club like that, he would score maybe double figures by now. But I watched Dundee a few times, Dave, before the turn of the year, and Griffiths didn't get a sniff. Like he was a sub, but he never got on, and that tells me that, no offense, but if you can't make it Dundee, well, you're never going to make it anywhere.
I think Regan's trying to suggest here about Bruce Anderson signing at Dundee, but I think the stumbling block with that, Regan, is Bruce Anderson signed a 3-year deal when he signed Holmesdale last summer, so it would involve a hefty bill and a hefty fee for Dundee.
Yeah, and Dundee really no got the money, have they, for that thing?
McPake gets backed in the January transfer window, as Dundee Football Club usually do. They usually back their managers in the January transfer window, but Bruce Anderson would be a huge gamble, not because of the player, because of the fee.
Well, in saying that, they're owned by an American, aren't they? Yeah, so you would think money is key to them, and they've got money, but yeah, they've been very quiet, haven't they, in this window?
He's by all accounts is looking for players, but I think a few have fell through at the 11th hour, unfortunately.
I think looking and getting them is 2 different things, Dave, because you can look all day, but have you got no money to back it up?
Back onto Cosgrove, and it hasn't worked out for him at either Birmingham City or Shrewsbury. I'm led to believe, going by a source, that a Shrewsbury fan was on the radio before the Liverpool game on Sunday, infuriated by Sam Cosgrove. And it's funny how a Shrewsbury fan would go on the radio and just berate one particular player. But then Sam Cosgrove scored goals at Aberdeen. He wasn't the most fanciest of players, but he scored goals for the Dons.
I just show you that maybe that's not his level, but I kind of heard that as well, what you were talking about, the fans phoning in and just single one player out. Again, I don't think it's fair, because if you're going to blame one man, you may as well just blame the whole team, instead of singles and one man out as well. Because we all know what's going to happen if he gets the ball, whatever. Is got the first thing the fans are going to do is boo, because the fans don't really forget anything, do they? So yeah, I think that one's a bit unfair, Dave.
Always, Regan Stevenson would Aberdeen take him back. I think he would. I think he would. He would suit Aberdeen. Yes, Aberdeen are a different team now under Stephen Glass.
And they need goals as well, Dave, because they're not scoring enough goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a perfect fit for Scottish football, because English Championship and English League One is tiki-taka, fancy football, pass, 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 pass. Scottish Premiership, physical, head. I'm sounding a bit like Gladiator here, but I'm just giving you some examples.
So you went from skill game to Gladiator in one show. Well done, Dave. And you've mentioned your new sponsor for this, the State of Scottish Football. So well done. Yeah.
Yeah, so what would you think? Would you think about that? I mean, Cosgrove would probably do a job in Scottish football because of his physicality.
Yeah, and he's a big guy as well. He uses his height as well. So yeah, I mean, I was quite surprised in the first instance how he went down south. But yeah, I mean, you never know. As I say, I mean, if Aberdeen put out a SOS to come back, I'm sure that he will come back, because Aberdeen, I mean, we're getting to the business end of the season, and they need goals, and also they need points as well. But I think, like, at the moment, if you ask any Aberdeen fan, they would rather take a win than a good performance, if that really makes sense, because 3 points is more important than the performance.
I'll tell you one man that would take him back. Get McInnes at Kilmarnock.
Yeah. Well, that's on the one day. That's on the one game. They've got a big game this week, haven't they? Away to Packet Thistle, and
On the telly Friday night, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that game. Always happy to see Packet Thistle on the telly. I've actually got a wee soft spot for the Hardy Rags as well. But yeah, I mean, looking forward to seeing it. Good to see Derek McInnes back in the game, because he's been out for a hell of a long time, and I think everybody was surprised that he never went to Ibrox.
Absolutely. Plenty of comments coming in. Much appreciated, guys. Regan Stevenson, get the tactics board out. Maybe next week. If you're on with me on Monday, Regan, we'll do a half an hour minimum show on tactics. I'll be going, right, what does Sean Maloney play? What does Ange Postecoglou play? Christmas jumper, okay, it's Happy New Year. The Christmas jumper is a foregone conclusion and a formality. It will not be seen again until the beginning of December, but it was a cracker, wasn't it? And speaking about crackers, Hearts definitely got one today. Mike, Craig Halkett said a new deal at the club.
Yeah, no, I heard that one as well, and the Hearts fans would be delighted by that. I've been actually quite enjoying watching Hearts this season, Dave, because they've actually put in a good performance. Some of the games, I think the best game I've seen Hearts and was against Motherwell, I think, and I think they beat Motherwell 2-0. And Motherwell was in a good run of form as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Hearts fans would be delighted to see Halkett sign a new deal for the club. And, let's hope he kicks on from now and until the end of the season and keep Hearts kind of like up there near the top half of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Halkett will be a big player, especially with the formality that Souttar will probably be away from Tynecastle soon.
Yeah, I kind of lost you there for a minute, Dave. Sorry.
Want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please. Yes. I'm a bit deaf.
Sorry. Halkett be an influential player to come at Hearts because Souttar is looking like a formality. He'll be off soon.
Yeah, and again, if Souttar doesn't go away, then you'll have the fans on the back because you know yourself, Dave, if he goes into a 50-50 challenge, he'll pull out. The fans will say, well, you pulled out because you wanted away and all that kind of nonsense that the fans come up with it at times. But I mean, I think yeah, I mean, if you were a Heart fan, you would like the two of them to stay. Sorry, sort of to stay as well. We know that might not happen, but it's just we'll see what this man brings.
Absolutely. Greg Playfair hasn't been in the comment section, but he's been in Twitter. I'm going to expose him live on air. He's came in and said on Twitter, Rangers and Celtic fans always go on about consistency, sporting integrity, and being treated equally. Pleased to see my club doing just that. Hard to love you fan, of course. And Greg Playfair, we love you so much that we've gave you a mention 50 minutes into the show.
Yeah, a big shout out to I'm a Resident Hearts supporter on the show. I was on with them the last time as well. So yeah, big shout out to you and hopefully you're well.
Absolutely. And we've got another Jambo soon, by the way. Big Graham. And you know Graham very well, Mike, of course.
Yeah, it's a bit like going to a bus stop and you stand waiting for a bus and none comes up and then 5 comes along at the one time. So but Graham Duffy is he's a good pundit as well, very biased towards that. No, I'm only kidding. But yeah, good to have Graham on the team.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to go to the Championship now. What have you thought of the Championship? I know we would speak about the Championship at this precise moment in time, but we've covered a lot of grass so far. So Championship, what's an exciting league so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was speaking about this last night on another podcast that I was on, and it's a shame because the Championship doesn't get that recognition that it should. I know it's on a Friday night on BBC Scotland Channel, one game a week. Come on, you could maybe do better than that because you've got some big teams in there. You've got Glenfermon and you've got Dougie Embley going to Morton as a manager, and then you've got Hamilton Aki. So you've still got top teams in the division, and obviously Kilmarnock. I'm getting used to saying Kilmarnock in the first division now because we're that used to saying Kilmarnock against Rangers or Kilmarnock against Hibs last weekend. So yeah, the Championship are full of different teams, kind of like different stories as well, like developing out of them.
Absolutely. Ross County have been busy on their transfer talk. They signed Declan Drysdale on loan from Coventry City. He's a centre half, 22 years old. And Mike, you won't know a lot about him, but it's pretty good for Ross County to replace Harry Clark.
Yeah, I'm not so up to speed on this kind of deal, Dave. But I suppose it's a good signing for kind of like Ross County as well. Because they may go the help they can get as well. Because we were talking about Dundee a minute ago, but Ross County's at the bottom there as well, and they need all the help that they can get to skate this season. But yeah, I mean it's good to see players coming from different parts of the UK or whatever, and to promote the game as well.
Yeah, it was last night's news. What do you think of Martin Boyle? What an offer he's had from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I think Dave, like you would go there, not for the weather. I'm not talking about the weather, by the way, but yeah, it's a no-brainer kind of thing. I don't know about you, but I mean, I would snap at the chance just to, I wouldn't say like, okay, I'll sleep on it and come back and tell you tomorrow. You would just say, yeah, oh yeah, I'll go right away and all that,
I forgot to mention this to Rigo last night, but Johnny Kenny obviously signed for Celtic over the weekend. £125,000 is a pretty good value for Celtic.
Yeah, that's a good bit of business again from Celtic. It's a good bit of business for Celtic, and all that. So yeah, they kind of like develop the players over the years, and then kind of like sell them on and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to see a bit of more business coming into Scottish football.
Excuse me, beg your pardon. Sorry, I'm busting my juice there. Yep, absolutely. So, Scottish football never fails to deceive, always entertains. And when you look at everything in completion and reflection, Mike, just happy that we're getting football with fans again. And I bet you can't wait for next week now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the games on Sky and going to some of the games next week as well. And don't forget that we've got the Scottish Cup ties to look forward to. I know, like, that's a week after, but you're always loving watching the cameras going to the likes of Arrow and Auchinleck are playing Hearts as well. So yeah, and a lot to look forward to in the second half of the season. And let's hope the government do not change it, because I don't think a lot of fans, in fact, all the fans, I don't think they'll be happy about it. I call it the kind of what's that nursery rhyme kind of in out shape that the hokey cokey 1 minute you're in, the next minute you're out, or whatever. So but let's hope they don't do that. Let's hope we see all the fans back throughout the season, because there's nothing worse than watching the games on telly or going to games and it's empty and you can hear the ball hitting against a seat or whatever.
Absolutely. Same old hour, always cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to get the lateral flow out, big man. Yeah, don't worry, I take a lateral flow test every day. It's a mandatory requirement for me because of my job. So I'll make sure I take one as soon as I'm off this show. There was definitely a bit of work in this class. Mike, I must say, it's been a pretty intriguing show, to say the least. But in terms of this weekend, I think the message would be is, if you're a Premiership fan, go out and support your clubs. And then by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday, you're out supporting your Celtics, your Aberdeens, your Hearts, your Rangers, your Hibs, and giving everybody in the Scottish football community much needed support.
Yeah, get behind your local, get behind your team, and go out and support them, because they need the finances about this time of the year, and it should be so that it should be a cracking card Monday and Tuesday night. Monday, obviously, there's one game on, and Tuesday night there's a full card of games on as well. So go out and support your team, and be safe, wear your mask or eat a pie or whatever you do at the football, and just enjoy it, because it's one of these things where it's you don't miss it until it's really gone, or maybe that's not the same. Maybe I've mixed it up, but yeah, it's brilliant to see it back.
Tom Messi and Scott Howe is on form tonight. It's time for Emmerdale, unfortunately. So thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. Much appreciated. It's been an enthralling last 59 or so minutes, and we're going to be back tomorrow. I don't know who the guests are yet, but I'll basically be. We'll make sure I've got people on, because we are definitely not going to leave you 5 people behind. It's January. We're all depressed. We're all bored. It's very dark. So we'll leave you be, and it's time for Emmerdale. So we'll catch you very shortly. Cheers, guys.